Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so I'm fresh off of listening to the previous Laker video that I did earlier today. Encourage you all to check it out as well. Thank everybody for always supporting BDF. And just wanted to kind of just go in whatever way I do in regards to the team. So, listen to myself talking about Anthony Davis. Really, it's just about coming in with the right attitude from the jump every night. And on nights where you can't get nothing going, I turn my mind to dunking the ball. That's where my head goes. If I were a big man, if I don't have any energy and all that, then obviously I'm not gonna be able to do it. But if I can't get any jump shots to fall, if I'm being crowded out, if anything or everything is going wrong in regards to my offense, I'm getting closer and I'm grabbing the rim. I've seen guys do that, and sometimes they brick dunks when it's really bad, right? When it's really bad, you can try that and you're gonna brick dunks, and it's just a nightmare for you. So I understand those type of nights for guys, but that's not what I'm talking about in regards to. I'm not expecting AD to have a night like that necessarily and have this problem. It's more so when his jumpers are not going, or halfway through the second quarter he's only attempted 3 or 4 shots and can't get in rhythm. For him, it's about reestablishing that his length, particularly in this series, it's not something that can really be stopped. And so I look for guys like D'Angelo Russell, who's been really good at this lately, Austin Reeves, LeBron James, to be looking to try to find Anthony Davis opportunities to grab the rim. That's what he needs. Two-hand dunk, you know what I'm saying? So he can kind of do his shake on the rim and then screen and then get back down court. He needs that on the nights when he can't get it going. And he needs to be able to do it probably twice in the game where he can't get it going. And so these are things I'm trying to get in kind of work into this content, because you got to fire Anthony Davis up, and you got to capture the moments when he's fired up, and you got to establish when we see him going into score mode versus what it looks like when he doesn't go into score mode, and what establishes that. And if we can identify when he's having a bad night, we can shift our offense like we should have did yesterday, and let the hot hand make up for the scoring that he does not have it for. But what we cannot do is be frustrated with him not having it, or force him to ball in situations when he doesn't have it, instead of toward the hot hand who could have scored in those possessions. So that's how I see yesterday's game kind of going completely left. We could have kept that thing as an 8-point loss or something like that. I don't know that you win it if you do everything right, but it would have definitely been a different game if we just would have identified he didn't have it and shift our offense. Also, getting him obviously that those two-hand dunks that I'm talking about as well. Just trying to find him some easy dump passes, some bounce passes, off back cuts or something that would get him dunks in the paint. So I don't know how that would be worked out, but you got to figure out a way to get Anthony Davis going, because if you don't, it likely turns into him being frustrated, which then turns into him picking up bad fouls, which turns into him not being as aggressive, and then we'd all go tumbling down. So we've seen this enough times this season and throughout the past several years with him on our team. Even though we've missed him with some injuries and stuff that throughout portions of the time, I think we've seen enough of him to kind of know this over the years. We just got to get him going, and we can't be confused about what gets him going. He's a quick shooter. He loves to shoot at paces that are much faster than he tends to walk into for some reason. And that's what we got to identify as well. Anthony Davis, he tends to put himself in situations that aren't necessarily best for him. At the pace he tends to go with, some of the plays we do in the half court doesn't necessarily cater to him. But when he's got it going, he's moving at a pace that's 2 or 3 snaps faster than what it is that he usually struggles with. So what we got to do is pick the pace up with Anthony Davis. When we're catering our offense toward getting him the ball, it has to be faster and it has to be more movement around him. You know, possessions that usually falter for the LA Lakers as well are possessions where we isolate one guy and then have guys standing around the perimeter waiting for that play to work out. I haven't seen the stats on these particular type of plays, but I'm pretty sure they're not great. Half court stand around offensive plays are bad for the LA Lakers, so we got to eliminate those entirely. If we have plays like that we're trying to set up, we got to take a look at how it works and does it work. Because if to my eyesight, it doesn't work. So yeah, we got to get more motion in our offense, more motion, more body movement, more ball movement. So these are things I've been thinking about. Um, you know, I was checking out something in regards to the Philly game. I don't even know if it's over yet, but I was looking at something that James Harden was doing, and it reminded me of the things that we tend to do with our ball handlers when we're having a really bad night. James Harden was having a very bad shooting night, and he was turning the ball over a lot. We got to make sure that we don't have any games like that against this team, because as I said in the pregame video of Game 1, transition buckets can turn into three-point shots against these guys. And right now, what they're trying to figure out is how to get into our paint. They're trying to figure out, and they think that they may have done so, but they understand that their personnel probably is not likely to be able to do so. And because of that, it's going to be hard for them to win games in this series even going forward if the Lakers adjust to what it is that they just saw, which shouldn't be too difficult, so long as they do their homework. And so, you know, if I'm the Golden State Warrior, I like how we performed, but I know that we've still got a tall task of trying to get past Anthony Davis on most nights. You had a nice night where the stats from both teams are basically the opposite. We got more fouls called on us than they did. They got in the paint and scored more on this. You know, they out-rebounded us. These things aren't supposed to happen on paper. So they schemed in a way to make that happen. But can they overcome us every night? I think the answer is no. That's why I have us winning this series in 6. I think they got one game, and I think they get another. But honestly, what they have to do is duplicate that production every night while simultaneously keeping us out of their paint, as to which we just didn't operate as well as we should have trying to get in their paint. And those stats are kind of scared by the fact that we took our foot off the gas basically by the end of the third quarter. So I think I'm not going to even lie to you guys. I don't know that if the Los Angeles Lakers didn't play an entire fourth quarter with the intention of erasing erasing layups in that game, if they don't wane off, we probably make that a respectable game. We might have even got back in it, to be honest with you. We took our foot off the gas, but I'm telling you, what I seen in the stats tells me that the only way they could keep that up is if they did things that are just not probable. They got to have Klay shooting like that. They got to have Steph making plays like that. They got to, you know what I'm saying? They got to have JaMychal Green shooting at a high percentage. I don't know that these things are sustainable. And another thing is, they removed Jordan Poole from this game. They're going to have to reinsert him back in the game. At some point, he's not going to be removed from this series entirely. Is he going to respond well to being benched in game 2? Or is he going to come out inefficient and take away from what it is that we saw? Looney's going to be reincorporated back into this as well. Does that take away from the dynamic of what they saw and return it back to a situation like we saw in game 1 that kind of puts us back in a position to have more of what we need to compete against them, less to have to defend around the perimeter? Because Green put that dynamic on the floor and they were able to benefit from that. You know, so Looney's not going to stretch the floor in that way. Can they count on Green to shoot 50% from behind the arc every night in order to give them that dynamic while Klay is going 8 for 11? You see what I'm saying? It's like, there's a lot of stuff happening in that game, and I promise you, they ain't never going to happen again. They're not going to be doing that well against AD doing that poor and then have a rebounding advantage and get all in our paint. Like, that's not going to happen again. So they got to find another way to overcome us when we're not playing this poorly and when we're not caught off guard by their adjustments. So this still looks great to me after I have listened to my previous video and thought more about this entire process. They got to prove they can get in our paint and keep us from blocking shots. If we don't block but 3 shots a night and they can shoot 50% from behind the arc and out rebound us, cool. If that happens 3 more times, we getting out of here. I'm not even going to be mad. I'm going to tip my hat, say thank you very much. Because that's just not going to take place. On paper, the stats are going to tell you there ain't no way that's going to happen 3 more times unless the Lakers enable it to happen. That's basically what I'm saying. Unless they fail to adjust to these geometry, so to speak, Steve Kerr adjustments. If they fail to get back on board with having Anthony Davis scoring the ball at least at an NBA standard level, 11 points. Yo, I don't understand how he walks away with 1 free throw. I gotta look at that stat. I'm taking that by someone else, and I didn't write down that free throw stat, but I heard someone say he had 1 free throw. I'm like, are you serious? Like, you got 2-hand dunks. He's getting fouled in this situation I'm talking about. And we have him hovering around the 18-foot mark trying to do fadeaways. If he's not in rhythm, it's clanking and it's going the other way, just like a LeBron 3-point shot. You know what I mean? Transition plays initiated. So we have got to understand this. We let the Golden State Warriors get in transition in entirely too much in this past game. And it did cater to the fullness of the score being as lopsided as it was. So, I'm telling you, man, Golden State has their shooting ability to go to mask the majority of the things that are going on down there. And from night to night to night, Klay and Steph are more than capable of doing exactly that. The problem is they are counting on us playing poorly in order for them to win. That's what I'm here to tell you. If what's in my mind's eye is clear, the only way the Golden State Warriors are going to be able to beat us is if we play like absolute garbage like we did last night, and they shoot like absolute gods for which they're capable of. So all we got to do is play well. Play well, make adjustments necessary to once again impose your strengths upon them, and watch them try to figure it out. You know, we're reacting and countering to what they're doing, but the reality is they were the ones who had to fail first. They didn't fail bad, though. Don't get it twisted. It ain't like we blew them out. But they had to adjust to the fact that we had beat them on their home court in the first game. So let's understand that we've already drawn blood against this team, and it's just 1-1 at the end of the day. And our advantages are still very much in place. Now, as I look around at our team, the one thing I want to say is I think we can reincorporate Wenyen Gabriel into this a bit more. He's kind of gotten lost in this conversation. I think we're using Anthony Davis a lot. And while you definitely want to make sure that you continue to impose that major strength, which is Anthony Davis on the Golden State Warriors, you got to keep him healthy too, and you don't want to wear him down. I love that we only played him 33 minutes last night. Obviously, that became, the case with garbage time, but you still want to make sure that you have his backup in place so that he can have the opportunities to be extended into overtime without being completely gassed. We talk about this a lot on this channel because I do think it's the essence of what being able to have enough to do what's necessary is all about. It's about buying rest and just gaining opportunities to use people that can give other guys rest while simultaneously putting them in a position to be good enough and well incorporated into what it is you do enough so that if you need to call on them in the event of injury, they are not completely out of whack in regards to your system and the rhythm of what they're doing. Last thing you want to do is throw a cold guy out there in playoff moments against really, really, really well playoff rounded athletes and say, make up for what the hurt guy is supposed to be doing in this moment. You would rather that dude have played all throughout these little moments that you refused to play him, so that he could have made his little mistakes, so that you could have learned him better, so that all these different things can be in place, so that when you call him now, he's like, yep, let's give me the game, let's do it. And it can be the absolute difference between having enough in the playoffs or not. I listened to Draymond Green talk about JaMychal Green. He was saying about his guy, you don't know when your number's going to get called, but you best believe we know we're going to need you. And sure enough, they needed him last night. Now, he played great for them, but that didn't have to be the case. You got to use guys like that so when you do call on them, they can perform. You know what I mean? So that's what it comes down to. You want to keep a guy ready. And I don't know that we've done the greatest job of that here. For the sake of our system, for which is only partially gave us what we wanted. Now you may, knock on wood, you never need these guys in that regard. Hopefully health meets us every day throughout these playoffs. But you'd rather be ready. You know what I mean? You got to stay ready. And so that's what it is that I think we haven't not necessarily been when it comes to some of our young players and some of our back of the bench guys. And I hope we can start to maybe change our thinking a little bit around maybe incorporating guys into what it is that we do. It's not like we don't trust that they can play, and it's not like we can't use what they can do. And so that's what I think. I think if you use these guys with the stars, it may get a little frustrating for the stars if they make mistakes. But the stars will help mask some of these guys' mistakes. It's just the same. You know what I mean? They may get a little nervous playing, a guy like Max Christie might not want to be in a lineup with AD and Bron all the time in a playoff situation. But if you throw him out there as it pertains to what it is that his functionality should be as a player, he's going to complement them. He's going to complement them rebound the ball. He's going to complement them with his length, blocking shots. He's going to complement them hitting open shots as they're doubled. He's going to complement them with various different things and get better playmaking for them as he continues to be in those lineups. But if you don't use him, he's going to go out there green. He's going to brick the shot. He's going to turn the ball over in some weird, wacky ways and all that different stuff that should be done throughout the course of the regular season so that he's already ready to go in the playoffs if you need him. And so that's what it really comes down to. Continuity means a lot. There's only 48 minutes to play each night. So, guys got to do what makes sense for the system that they have. A lot of times these systems are kind of locked into certain things and they don't allow for much ambiguity. And that's the problem as well. The systems need to be able to incorporate more different types of players into itself so that you don't ostracize legitimate talent from what it is that takes away from the fullness of the team's strength. I mean, we're not as good a team as we could be without the athleticism and speed of Lonnie Walker and the pace creating of Lonnie Walker every night. We could be so much more dynamic of a team if we knew how to harness his speed into what it is that we do every night and his athleticism every night. And it's like, I just don't think that's even being considered. It's like, that dude is like, in my mind, I picture it like a team that's kind of moving a certain way. You look at Anthony Davis, he's struggling with his motions. LeBron James shooting threes and they're bricking. Austin Reeves, same thing. He's just not getting it right for that night. You put a guy like Lonnie Walker on the floor, and all of a sudden he's pushing forward, and everything is going to pull behind him. You understand what I'm saying? With his inertia. Just like Russell used to do, but not the same way because Russell also bricked a lot and turned the ball over a lot. But Lonnie ain't going to do that. Lonnie's going to do different things in that way, and he's going to play off of those guys a bit better. Now, where Lonnie gets lost is on defense. He leaves things open. Layups come around him. And, he tends to turn the ball over sometimes as well, but he's going to make up for it with easy buckets. Easy buckets. They're going to foul this dude because he's getting off the ground. They're going to have to foul him hard because he's getting off the ground. So these type of things you want to take advantage of, and I just think that because our system allows for more shooting, you have a guy like Malik Beasley getting so many minutes when he don't put that type of inertia on the floor. He's not doing that. They're not going to react to him that way. Or using a guy like Troy Brown, who's a jogger. He's a professional jogger. We know this. So he's going to use his length sometimes. Going to hit a pretty three. But other than that, I mean, he's a jogging around. So that's not the same thing. He's not putting that athleticism. He's not flying around like that. Lonnie does. So for whatever Lonnie's weaknesses are, we can point out weaknesses in all the players that we do use. They don't, you know what I mean? So it's like let's look at what Lonnie's strength is. Realize that it's a real asset to what we can do, especially against some of these speedy teams with all these athletes, or more so against teams that don't have any athletes, obviously. And the Golden State Warriors, I can tell you, you look at Wiggins, you look at Kuminga. After that, I don't see too many people that can jump around, man. I don't see too many. Because those guys are shooters. You know, they're not leapers. And so as long as that is the case, a guy like Lonnie Walker should be able to have a step ahead of a lot of them. And so, and Lonnie Walker makes people guard him, man. You know, that's the thing about it. You got to guard this dude. When he starts getting going, you better put an athlete on him, which means you got to take an athlete off somebody else. And that's another reason why I want to use Lonnie Walker, because it's like, look, Austin Reeves is getting hounded out there. Dennis Schroeder, they getting hounded out there. Why? Because people like Wiggins and GP and all that, they have to use some of their, they get to put their athletes on those guys. You put Lonnie on the floor? Nah. Now you got to put one of them on him. And you put Rui Hachimura on the floor with Lonnie Walker, even though it can get a little tricky because we haven't used those guys like that. Now you got to put size on the floor to mess with Rui Hachimura and somebody fast enough and athletic enough to keep up with Lonnie Walker. Then you got to put Bron and AD on the floor, or you can put some variation of something else, and now they got to try to deal with a lot more than what we're asking them to deal with right now. While we're reacting to them chasing Steph Curry around to our own detriment offensively, we could be having them chasing us around trying to figure out how the hell to deal with all this size offensively. And they don't have it. There's only one Draymond over there. Kevon, he's sick, apparently. And Green, the other Green, is not going to do that. He'll block a shot here and there, but that's not his game. Kuminga the same, so, and they don't want to play Kuminga. So it's like, look, we're not using our athleticism. We're not taking advantage of the power that Rui has to give that team down there. They can't guard him. You know they can't guard him. Through 2 games, it's been proven that the Golden State Warriors have yet to find an answer for Rui Hachimura. The only problem is the Lakers have been the ones that have provided the problem because they don't put the ball on the floor. So when you consider that, and I'm just like, man, we got other ways to attack Golden State. We don't have to get our butts whipped by them with Bron down there trying his best and AD down there struggling. It ain't the only way to attack that team. Just like they threw JaMychal Green out there to start and some awkward stuff that doesn't look like it could work. But then again, if you look at how it's set up, it's definitely going to work because they get to spread the floor. So it's like, we got to be able to think like that. It's like we don't have to use our stars for everything or just be married to what it is that we're doing just because it's in our heads. Nah, look at what they're doing. They're changing the game. Bring in a backup dude. Throw something in there that they're not even looking for. That's how we're going to beat the Golden State Warriors. It's exactly how you're going to beat them. Catching them off guard, doing the same thing they did to us, to them. You know what I mean? So that's I expect for us to respond very well. They did a lot of stuff in their building. Chase Center helped us understand that they were firmly in control of what was going on out there. They took care of business. They made us feel like we were not home. We got to do the same thing to them. We took the powder out of Bron's, ritual, whatever you call that. Not cool. So as far as I can tell, it should be an interesting game back here. And we should make it feel like hell for them. We really should. It should not feel like a happy little Steph party. I know it's going to be a lot of Golden State fans here. You know, they basically have the heart of the generation right now because this is the reigning dynasty. So we expect it to be a loud arena for them, just like it's going to be a loud arena for us. But at the end of the day, this is Laker land, buddy. And we are here to get our 18th championship so we can break the record for the most championships garnered in the history of the league. And the Celtics are still around, probably winning their game right now, trying to do the same damn thing. And you're in the way. And so that's pretty much it. That's really it. We appreciate y'all beating them last year, keeping them from that. I'm going to salute y'all for that. Congratulate y'all for that championship. But we got to keep you from defending it because we trying to get it. We want that. We've had it. And it's been a while, man. It's been a while. 2 years is a long time for the Lakers, as you guys know. So So I gotta say, man, this is the battle of dominance, and it's the contrast of styles. And to be honest with you, I truly believe in our style more so than that 3 point style. It makes more sense to me. If you could play a whole game without 6 fouls being the limit, then I would believe in the 3 point shot, because at the end of the day, my theory is shooters foul people when they're too small to guard them, and those people are driving at the rim. And if you get those shooters in foul trouble, the coach has to make a decision. And in making that decision, he's risking keeping those foulers on the floor, as to which they're going to either have to play less physical defensively, as to which I'm getting easy layups, weighing that against their shooting percentage for the 3 point line, which is probably not going to be above 50% as a team. So this is how I'm looking at the situation. I just think that at the end of the day, I'd rather drive, put you in foul trouble, and then let you do whatever you're going to do with the 3 point shot while trying my best to guard it, and taking my chances with the percentages. So I like our style over that style, and I think it's going to prevail if we use it to the best of our ability. If we use it properly. So that's really what it comes down to. And the argument for that style is 3 is more than 2, and they have the best shooters in the world, and they can spread the floor, and likely our free throw shooters will make up the difference bricking free throws. That's the argument. If we brick free throws, brick layups, don't connect on our and ones, stuff like that, and they hit all of their 3 point shots, they should beat us. But the problem is they got to be able to establish that 3 point shot, and the way we're constructed defensively should keep them from doing it. Blocking shots in the interior, rebounding the ball, and keeping them from getting layups, as I've already said, getting in the paint, scoring on them, etc., very easily. So that's what we're constructed to do. They stopped us from doing that somehow in the last game. And you got to applaud them for that. But at the same time, you got to look at the Lakers and say, y'all didn't show up with the intensity that you should have. That I can say after 24 hours of letting that game sink in. We didn't approach it like we thought we were going to win it. We didn't play like we were going to win it. And we let the referees get in our heads too. The officiating was trash, and we let ourselves get distracted by that. And that's part of our psychology as a team, which is why I talk about it so much. Can't let it happen. The officials are always going to do whatever they think they should, whatever they've been told to do, or however their system works it. If we get emotional about that and stop playing basketball, then that's just a weakness that can get us defeated and keep us from Larry O'Brien. I don't think we really want to wait till next year to find out if we can get it again. You know what I mean? If we can find ourselves in this position, if we want to not make mistakes that would keep us from that championship right now, is what I'm trying to say. You don't want to wait till next year. You don't know what next year brings. Get it right now. So as it pertains to the referees, did we not learn our lesson? We chirped at them, and Golden State ran past us. So let's not do it again. Let's kind of learn our lesson. You know what I mean? The psychology of that situation was set in place from the jump. They told us who those referees were in a certain way. They let us know about the Celtic dude. They had it in our heads. And we played right into it, and we got to know that. So that's really what I got to say. I know the officials are always going to be in place. They're always going to be on our minds. We're going to talk about them. But at the end of the day, if we do what we're supposed to do, it's hard, very, very hard to manipulate a game from their perspective if a team's playing perfect ball. So let that be in our minds, man. It's not easy. It's not easy doing what they do, however you look at it. At the end of the day, I believe this team can pretty much do what it needs to do if it stays focused. And losing focus, I think it can learn from that. And so that's what I'm tasking it to do. And then from there, as I started the video, we go all the way back to our first thought. We got to get Anthony Davis going, man. Come on. Where's the urgency with this guy? You know, not just with him, but with us getting him involved. We've been going through this all season long. And now that the playoffs come around, we don't have contingencies for him falling off a cliff offensively. We've been watching him do this pattern for the last, the whole year. When he's out there, he does this. So we need to know how to identify it, as I said, and then make the offensive shift. More Rui, more Austin, more LeBron, more whoever the heck else is going to put the ball in the hole. D-Lo, definitely sure. Everybody, Schroeder, put these guys in a position to make up the difference from his scoring droughts, and we'll still win. You know what I mean? Because we can still win with him going for 11. Because everybody on our team is meant to score. You know what I'm saying? I look at a guy like Dennis Schroeder and say, bro, you walk away with 30 points with one of these guards sitting down. We put you in the starting lineup. Bron ain't out there. AD ain't out there. You walk away with 30 points. Make up the scoring difference if this guy doesn't want to score. You know what I'm saying? Austin Reeves is locked down. And I really want to see us put him in some back screens situations so we can get some layups. He's got to get freed up, man. We have to free him up. Because if he can't play well in this series, that plays right into the Warriors' hands. The Warriors have neutralized certain players that we count on to give us the fullness of our team. When the Lakers are playing well, we have about 7 players in double figures. So if we can't capture that once again in this series, or at some point in this series, those will be the games we lose, I think. We got to get multiple players going. Especially if Anthony can't give us 30 points. I don't know what Anthony's going to show us back home. I would hope that he's back to his dominant defensive ways. As usual, he doesn't wane there. Although some would say his last game wasn't very good defensively. Maybe he's a bit tired because we played him 44 minutes. So let's try to do more resting him. Try to keep him under 40 minutes if possible. If possible, which I think is totally possible if we just trust our roster. And so hopefully Mo Bamba doesn't have continued issues with this ankle. That's concerning. Is he hurting it in practice? Because he certainly isn't getting any damn playing time. I don't know, man. I'm already kind of frustrated there. But it's not just that he's not healthy. It's more so that our coach doesn't want to use him. So either way, it's just frustrating to know that we have the length there that could kind of help provide a substitute for Anthony Davis's length, and we just don't see it that way as a team. So whatever the case may be, I think that's a big dynamic in this series, as I brought up many times. And the key to winning in this series is shot blocking in my mind. As long as we're erasing layups, they have to shoot the three. And if they have to shoot the three, they're going to die by that thing. They're going to die by it. So, know why they won. They won because they got in the paint. They won because they out-rebounded us. They won because they did a bunch of stuff that they're not technically functioned to do against us. So, let's stop them. BDL44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.